All right, good evening, folks. Good evening. Buenas noches. Just a quick one, nothing to do with the advent calendar for December 25. We play this game where you guys scream at me, "You don't understand science," and then I come straight back with a really good volley, and I scream, "You don't understand the science," and then one of you lobs it over the net, and then and it's back and forth. It is you guys. You do not understand your own science, okay? This is about the solar eclipse and this Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, Twilight Zone orientated 8-minute and 20-second light delay. There's so many of you, educated folk as well, right? You say, the reason the sun is behind the moon during the solar eclipse is because it always flows. The sun is there, even though the photons take time. That's why we see the sun. There's no break, it flows. You don't understand the science if you think that. I understand what you're saying, it flows, fair enough. But it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the photons to arrive at the moon. And then another 1.3, right, for the shadow to hit us. You are missing something monumental, all of you, when you keep saying, but it's a continuous flow. That is why the sun is directly behind the moon. It's a continuous flow. It doesn't work like that because you are told, and I've heard absurd folk saying, it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds. It would take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for people to realize if the sun switched off, it's going to take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for people to realize the sun is switched off, because that is how slow light travels, okay? Now, there's a key part of this that you're missing, those of you who don't understand the science and who want the cake and you want to eat it too. Every time any shadow that is being cast on this planet, if I was outside now and the sun was up there and I'm casting this, that sticks casting a shadow onto the board if we were outside, yada yada, you know what I mean? What people are not understanding is planet Earth is always 2.08 degrees, that's 8 minutes and 20 seconds, before the photons leave the sun. Every single shadow you ever see cast on planet Earth, according to your Mickey Mouse science, when those photons departed on the 11:25 from the sun to reach Earth at 11:33 and 20 seconds, right? Planet Earth is facing 2.08 degrees that way, anti-clockwise. So what we have, I'm just marking another line. It's slightly exaggerated angles, but that's irrelevant. It's finite light, 2.08 degrees, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So planet Earth would kind of be facing this way. Not planet Earth, I keep saying that and I shouldn't be. The sweet spot on planet Earth is facing 2.08 degrees before the sweet spot, right? Because it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the photons to get here. So, isn't this weird? Look, planet Earth, the sweet spot where people are going to find themselves in, with that beautiful moon covering up the sun, they are facing 2.08 degrees before the sun. That's where people are facing, 2.08 degrees before the sun. So the photons leave the sun when Earth is facing away, right? It's facing, not Earth, the sweet spot. I keep saying that, not Earth, the sweet spot. It's about a very precise shadow going to hit a particular spot on planet Earth with photons that departed 8 minutes and 20 seconds earlier, right? So what happens? The photons leave the sun, but they leave the sun when planet Earth is facing that way. So what happens? 3, 2, 1, go. The photons are on their way. 8 minutes and 20 seconds they're going to travel for, and planet Earth is going to be turning like this for 8 minutes and 20 seconds, and 8 minutes and 20 seconds later, bang, freeze. Now, 8 minutes and 20 seconds it's taken for the photons to arrive here, and the moon is going to cast its shadow. Knowing that it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds, and knowing that the sweet spot on planet Earth had to have been facing that way when the photons left the sun, how is it possible that when Earth has moved into that perfect sweet spot position, why is it seeing both the photons that have taken 8 minutes and 20 seconds to arrive for people to then be stood or sat in the moon's shadow, 8 minutes and 20 seconds, at the same time as they are seeing the sun that radiated those photons 8 minutes and 20 seconds earlier? And why is it, if it took 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the photons to arrive there, and Earth just turned into it, if it took 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the photons to arrive there and the moon then cast its shadow, what business has the sun to be behind the moon? It can't be, because it launched the photons 8 minutes and 20 seconds earlier. So as planet Earth has moved, it's moved into the photons, but there is a gap of 8 minutes and 20 seconds to the star that is behind the moon. But there is no 8 minute and 20 second gap, is there? It can't be, because we see the sun's corona around the moon. You have the sweet spot on planet Earth, the moon's shadow, right, that goes down to the sweet spot. That's two things. You then have the moon itself and the sun, and they are all perfectly lined up. They cannot be perfectly lined up with Mickey Mouse fine light, because the sun would not be there. It cannot be continuous. It is continuous photons, if you want to call it that, but it's finite light. It's a very precise way of measuring things, isn't it? Because you're told that if the sun suddenly went off, it would take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for people on Earth to know that. How can that be? That's ridiculous, because we can see the sun directly behind the moon in real time. There is no delay. The photons didn't leave the sun when planet Earth was facing that way. It's illogical. Why is it illogical? It's illogical because when planet Earth is in the sweet spot position, the moon and the sun directly behind it, everything is perfectly in line. Nothing has taken 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get anywhere. It is the absolute light that is the sun that is being blocked in real time by the moon. I'm not sure how. It's just a terrible, terrible tragedy that people are finding logic with a light delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds when there clearly is none. It's bordering on, I'm not going to say insanity, but there is no light delay. There is no light delay. When the sun is shining, and let's say this is the moon, and you can see it on on the sweet spot there is no light delay. Even when I do this from here, if I took this board outside into the garden the way it is, right, and tomorrow morning when the sun comes up from there, and I put this pretending to be the moon and the sun shines through and comes down, it's going to be exactly the same as me using this light or any other light. If the light is powerful enough, any light is powerful enough that it can be stopped with an object and a shadow is cast onto something else, onto a surface, everything is happening in real time. There is no light delay. There is no light delay because sweet spot, moon shadow, moon, and sun. There are 4 things lined up perfectly. That is not possible with finite light, okay? I'm sorry, but it is you who does not understand your own science. I understand the science, and I understand both angles, absolute, and I understand the Mickey Mouse photon effect, which there is none. There is no such thing as a photon. The reason why we know this, because if this was the sun, and that is casting its shadow onto planet Earth, it is the light source that is being blocked, not photons that have been traveling for 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Because if that were the case, the sun would have already moved. Or let's say planet Earth, the sweet spot on planet Earth would have already moved by the time the photons arrived. And the sun cannot be in line with the object casting the shadow and the shadow wherever it lands on whatever surface. Those things cannot be in line. It doesn't matter where the light source is or where the object is. When there's a shadow, it will be perfectly in line with the object casting the shadow and the light source radiating the light that is being blocked to cast the shadow. It's a slam dunk. There is nowhere to go. The photon is Mickey Mouse. It needs to go back to Disneyland, and we need to start working out all those equations that had C in it because they're all wrong. And there's going to be such a fallout from this, that poor relativity, where's it going to go? Back to the Twilight Zone. Hopefully with the people who promote it. They don't belong here, they don't belong here. People that promote these absurdities don't belong here. They're rogues. They've come to mess with the children's heads. Right? So it is you who does not understand your science. It's finite light. They're telling you it's finite. If the sun goes out, you don't know for 8 minutes and 20 seconds. What does that mean? That means there is a wave of darkness coming. And as that wave of darkness is coming, planet Earth is turning 2.08 degrees by the time the darkness hits. So why is the sun still directly behind the moon during a solar eclipse? Common sense and logic, guys. You're trying to dodge the issue by laying down smoke screens, and it doesn't work. If something is casting a shadow, right, it's because it is in line with the light source behind it. It doesn't matter how far the object is away from the light source. It doesn't matter how far away or how close the surface that is getting hit by the shadow is. When this is happening, it's absolute light. There is no delay. It's highly, highly logical. All right, next time I come back, I will be on the 20th of December, and we will be talking about an absurdity that never happened. All right, buenas noches. See you tomorrow. Bye.